What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're gonna be farting and pooping with Roblox. Make sure you like and subscribe.
Smash that subscribe button below. If you like what you see, I'm not good at this.
Text me back. Text me back. Text me back. Text me back at once. Welcome to Text Me Back, a show about best friends for best friends, an independent production that you can support at patreon.com/textmebackpod. I'm Meagan Hatcher-Mays.
And I'm Lindy West. On today's show, we solve the mystery of Mark and Heather, and the story will be 3 to 10 times more bananas than any other story. I'm also going to tell you a horrible story about entrails and the power of community. But first, tidings!
Do you have them? Tidings!
I just want to acknowledge that I looked really bad last week.
Thank you. It's been on everyone's minds. The Text Me Backalites are in a tizzy about how bad you looked last week.
What happened was, Meagan and I hopped on to do a test record.
Mm-hmm.
So I looked like shit. We did so good that we were like, we gotta use it.
I know. The unfortunate thing is when we log on to just pop something stupid off, it's gold every time.
Yeah.
Sorry.
That's the freaking problem. Also, we're new to this YouTube space. You know, we weren't ready. I wasn't ready. I didn't know. That was before we had our incredible meeting with our part-time YouTube strategist. I shouldn't even say that.
I feel like
he hasn't consented to that.
No, he's like not even part-time. He's our one-time YouTube strategist.
We talked to a man for 1 hour about YouTube.
And now he's a part-time employee of this company, I guess.
But he forgot to say in the meeting, don't look like shit. I think because that it was implied.
He did. Yeah, I think he didn't think he needed to tell you that.
Yeah.
But it turns out he totally did.
Today, I started 1 hour earlier, half an hour, and I took a shower, and I washed these guys.
By wash these guys, she means her bangs, if you're just listening. If you aren't getting the full audio-visual experience.
I'm like fully transformed into a YouTube freaking vlogger now.
That's
audio,
right.
I don't know her.
Yeah, you're going to be watching these on your little candy sticky YouTube like a little 11-year-old boy. You're going to love it.
Yeah, that's our demo.
Our whole demo is going to be iPad Kids in like a month.
That's my dream demo.
I know. Well, it's, you know, what's interesting is we have gotten many, I would characterize it as many emails from people with kids who are like, Freak Vonk is my child's favorite song. I was like, should we be putting out a children's album? What's going on here? You know?
Yes. And also when we had the live show, we had multiple fans who asked their parents to bring them.
Yes.
In the grade 5 through grade 8 demographic. And I have a theory as to why. It's because I have the interests of children. I'm interested in the same stuff. And I say children not pejoratively.
Not as a derogatory term.
No, I want to talk about dinosaurs, sharks, snakes, ghost stories, mysteries.
You know, by the way, the visual of this is great because you are wearing overalls right now. It really is giving like 11-year-old iPad kid right now. And I think, hey, let's lean into it.
Should I go get my great big lollipop?
Would you mind? Can you just stick up like one little cowlick at the back, like Little Rascals style? The famous modern reference. that kids love.
Kids love. No, you know, I feel like I've been on a journey of healing my inner child.
It seems like maybe that's how women's midlife crises go. Because I kind of feel the same, where I just feel like I'm feeling a little bit of a surly teen, you know, little 90s girl these days. And I'm just like, is it because I'm about to be 42?
Probably.
And I feel like I'm losing my time.
Okay, but consider doing it the way I'm doing it, which is that I'm spending all my money on a 3D printed nightlight shaped like Cinderella's castle.
Yes.
I have video games on 2 floors of my house, plus 1 portable video game.
Yeah.
It's great. Like, it's actually okay to have a midlife crisis and then seek out simple pleasures that you were told to abandon.
That's right.
Because you're supposed to be an adult.
Yeah, you're supposed to be like working really hard and
Right.
being ambitious.
But it's like, I do those things.
Yeah.
So can I also just play video games the rest of the time?
Yeah, can I be just like a lump for the other 14 hours of the day that I'm not doing that?
Do you know how many blankets are within arm's reach of me right this second?
Actually, yes, I do. Because I was just there. You record the show in your beautiful and very cute, I guess it's an attic. I don't know. Do we call it that? Or do we call it something else? But
we call it the loft, but
yeah,
it's
the loft.
It's an attic. It used to be full of bats.
The loft at your cabin is one of my favorite places in the whole world because it's so cozy. Beams as far as the eye can see, so you do got to watch your noggin when you're walking around up there. You've got a built-in bed, which is so cozy. Little porthole, so you wake up, you look out the porthole at Hood Canal. It's the best place in the world. And it's like, the thing I love about it is that you can picture baby Lindy in there, reading her Tamora Pierce novels, you know?
Yeah. And now I'm back. And I spend all my time up
Hell
here.
yeah.
And I genuinely do feel very healed by spending time up here. I
Yeah.
made it into my little den. The built-in bed, that's where I've had the best sleep of my life. There was one sleep that I remember. I'll never forget it. I came home from college for winter break. I flew, my parents picked me up from the airport. They drove me straight out here. My mom had made the bed with this like blue flannel sleeping bag that was my favorite. And then she had put that, she must have put a sheet down, and then I was underneath this blue flannel, and I just tucked myself in there. You know, I'd pulled like 3 all-nighters in a row to finish finals, and then I crawled into that little cubby, and I must have slept for 20 hours. And I feel like I've been chasing that for the rest of my life.
Listen, this show, strongly pro cozy, but let me tell you something. I'm really sorry to the Text Me Backalites, but you don't know cozy until you've slept in that built-in. I'm sorry.
If you subscribe to our Patreon at $1,000 a month...
Yes, you can go.
Come out here.
You can go to the cabin.
I still have the blue flannel sleeping bag. I will make the exact bed for you.
That's $1,000 a month. That's the T-sauce level. You're the type of person who drives a luxury vehicle of the kind that I would have targeted with tartar sauce while in high school.
Yep.
And if you want to give us $1,000 a month, I'll drive you myself to Lindy's cabin. It won't be weird at all. It'll be very normal.
I'll leave. You can just take over the house. I don't care.
This podcast is about coziness. This podcast is about impressing 11-year-olds with our knowledge of animals and snakes, which kind of brings me to my tiding. It's a sad tiding, though. I'm sorry. But previously on this podcast, we talked about a newly discovered creature. It was an enormous anaconda who she was discovered by a man named Professor Dr. Freakvonk, a Dutch scientist, I guess. And he discovered her at the bottom of the Amazon or something, just swimming all about, being free, 1,000 feet long, weighed 8,000 pounds. Anyway, we talked about her on the show, and we gave her the name Freakaconda because we think that newly discovered species should have more fun names than the Latin version of I found it in the Amazon River. That's boring. Amazon Rivericus. Don't do that. Name it something funny like Freakaconda. The guy who found it's named Freak. So name it Freakaconda. And we love her. We loved her. Like, she immediately became a part of our family. Our lives. She's the best friend you always wanted, the sister you never had. So, and then I got really obsessed with Freakvonk, who's like a cool scientist. So now I just am getting served Freakvonk's content all the time. Out of nowhere, like a week ago, Freakvonk posts a picture of Freakaconda, but she looked kind of messed up on the photo. And I was like, that's weird. I wonder if you found a different anaconda. And the caption was all in Dutch, so I had to translate it. And it was like, and I was like, what's going on with this snake? And it was like, it was Freakaconda. It was Freakaconda. And she was dead. She had died. And the caption was wild. Freakvonk was like, whoever did this to Freakaconda, he doesn't call her that, but he will eventually. Whoever did this to Freakaconda, you're on my list. I'm coming for you. You should be punished to the fullest extent of the law for murdering Freakaconda. So he was alleging a murder had taken place. I was in a tizzy. I texted you immediately. I was like, are you in a place where you can receive difficult information?
Yeah.
You said yes. I was like, R.I.P. Freakaconda. I regret to inform you she has passed. Freakvonk is calling it a murder, you know?
And he's a doctor.
And he's a professor doctor. So he would know. At first I was like, it just is weird to me because it's like if a poacher murdered Freakaconda, isn't the whole point of poaching and murdering a wild animal that you take the skins? Why would they leave her body? So I was like, this is a very Clue-esque situation. We got to get Keith Morrison on this one, I think. Josh Mankiewicz, where are you at?
It could have been like a sort of an Amadeus situation. Like the previously biggest anaconda ever captured on film was like, this will not stand. I got to take this bitch out.
Yeah. The Jennifer Lopez 1997 anaconda was like,
Yeah, that's who it was.
So here I'm thinking we have a murder to solve. I almost brought it as like a murder mystery for the show.
First, text me back a light group trip. We're heading to the Amazon. We're going to solve this mystery together on the ground.
At the $12,000 a month Patreon level, we will solve an anaconda murder with you in Brazil. Okay. So I was like, something fishy about this story, but I got to trust Freak Funk, right? She must have been murdered by someone. Turns out it wasn't a murder. She died of natural causes. First of all, it's still devastating. I'm devastated. Sure. We just met, and we had grown so close, and now she's just gone. This key figure of the Text Me Back lore is just gone, But I also think it was misinformation and irresponsible of Professor Dr. Freakfunk to say that she was murdered.
Yeah, also to post a picture of her corpse.
I don't need to see it.
The corpse of the sister I never had, the mother that everyone deserves, and then I have to look at her when I'm just out here trying to find some hunky pics of a motorcycle scientist?
What the hell, Freak Funk?
That's not very vonky of you.
You are not keeping it on the ones. So I just wanted to share this very sad news about Freakaconda with the Text Me Back lights. I know she meant as much to you as she did to us, but the good news is that she was not the victim of a cold-blooded murder in the Amazon. It's just regular snake stuff. So she's in a better place. Today we say, rest in peace, Freakaconda. We'll see you when we get to the crossroads.
I really, really loved you, and I hope you had a million little squirming babies that are all gonna grow up and be so strong and brave.
Just like their mother. Lindy, you're out there in the woods. You're woodswomaning. You're a female woodsman. You're chopping down trees. You're communing with nature. You are learning how to talk to deer in their native tongue.
Yep.
And you're bowing to them. You're giving each other ticks. It's a whole thing. It's so romantic out there. However, you also have been dealing with some gross stuff that you've been texting me about constantly. Would you like to share?
It's the rich tapestry of life, when you live close to nature like I do. The blood and the guts, So all kinds of things are happening out here. Barry ate what I believe to be a large log of cougar shit that he found in the woods. He would not relinquish it, even for peanut butter.
Just really quickly, I think it's so funny because dogs, I have a dog and a cat now. I used to have 2 dogs and a cat. And dogs love cat turds. They're like little bonbons to them. So it's just funny to me that the same holds for cougar shit as well. Also, the little snacky.
I didn't even make that connection that dogs love to eat cat shit. It's so true. And Barry's never encountered cat shit before because we don't have a cat.
Yeah. And this is like the Kobe beef of cat turds.
Yeah. He went to town. And the thing about the woods is that you don't know what's out there.
Yeah.
You don't know what's in the woods.
Every night is a different episode of X-Files, I feel like, out there.
Yes.
It's very scary.
It's very scary. The owls are out there. They're going, woohoo, woohoo.
And that's owl language for, I'm gonna get you.
Yes. And don't even get me started on the mysteries. Like, it's like the things that I know are out there are scary enough. Bears, cougars, owls, Republicans.
Got him.
And then there's, of course, the supernatural. There's the ghosts, etc.
Etc. etc.
Barry and I go on our daily walk down to the beach. This is a few months ago. I don't know why I've been sitting on this story. I just was like, I don't know. Do I want to turn this into a screenplay? Barry and I head down to the beach, and he has his frisbee, as usual, or as he pronounces it, fribby. He's got fribby. I'm very slow. He runs ahead of me all the way down. He does not stay. He does not wait to check on his mommy. He doesn't give a shit if I fall and break my leg. He's gone.
No. On the one hand, you're super concerned he's going to be mauled by a cougar. And when it comes to you, he's thinking, I don't know her.
Yes. Correct.
She just throws the fribby. I could take or leave it.
Correct. So I finally get all the way down to the beach, expecting to see Barry waiting for me at the bottom, being like, can you please throw this, ma'am?
It's all you're good for.
It's all you're good for. Instead, no Barry. Bone-chillingly, Fribby is lying unattended on the path, which is unheard of. Never happened before. Oh my God. Yeah. He has abandoned Fribby. I'm like, he got dog raptured.
What a portent. Yeah.
I know. It's so scary. It's so spooky. So then I'm like, starting to get very agitated, and I'm yelling like, Barry, 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 where are you? Barry, Barry. And so I keep going all the way down to the beach, expecting like, well, maybe he got so excited about the water, he dropped Fribby and he ran down. He's not down there.
Oh.
He's not down there.
Oh no.
And so I'm like, oh my God. And look, this is hearsay, but we do have a neighbor who reportedly told another neighbor that if their dogs run onto his property, he's going to shoot them.
Ooh.
I know.
Ugh.
I didn't hear that firsthand. I heard it like third hand. So it might not be true, but I'm like, oh my God, anything could have happened to my baby boy.
Yeah. Scary.
I know, I'm getting really nervous. So then I run back up to the clearing where the Fribby is, and I keep looking. I keep calling Barry's name. I hear a rustling. And I'm like, huh, okay, perhaps that is the cougar that just ate Barry or whatever. I look over into the bushes and I see just a few little orange tail feathers waving above the bush. I say, Barry, what are you doing? He does not come to me. He doesn't even look at me.
Oh.
I take a few steps through the brush and I see what has Barry so captivated. It is a full, bloated, veiny stomach of some large animal surrounded by coils of white intestines.
Oh.
Nothing else. Nothing else. No fur, no blood, no lungs, no heart, no liver.
Just the insides.
Just like the digestive system, basically, as far as I can tell.
Okay, right away. 1-800-Mulder and Scully. What's going on? I don't like this.
So I'm like, dude, get out of there. That's gross. Stop. He will not stop. I have to drag him out of the bushes.
Oh my God.
And by the way, he weighs 90 pounds. And so then I'm like full on switching into mystery mode. I start going through the options in my mind. I'm like, okay, cougar kill. A cougar would not surgically remove only the stomach and intestine.
A cougar is not cleanly butchering the carcass of a deer.
I just don't see how a cougar could have done this.
Yeah.
It's pristine. It's surgical. This is not Professor Dr. Freakfunk we're talking about. This is not Dr. Sanjay Gupta we're talking about. This is a wild cat.
It certainly is not Dr. Sanjay Gupta we're talking about here.
If you told me Dr. Sanjay Gupta lurked in these woods.
First of all, hello.
Hello.
I put my makeup on, Sanjay.
Sanjay, don't watch last week's episode.
Sanjay.
Okay. I guess a hunter could have shot this. I assumed it must be a deer.
Mm-hmm.
I guess a hunter could have shot this deer, cleaned it here.
Yeah.
As a female woodsman, I know a lot about hunting.
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure. Well, and also you and I both been trained up on Oregon Trail, so.
Exactly. Correct.
You have to figure out how to carry the meat back to the wagon.
Yes.
So you know what you're doing.
Lindy, parentheses, knowledgeable, knows that you take the guts out. So I'm like, okay, I guess, but there's no hunting here. First of all, it's all private property. You can't just go hunting. And it's like so remote. There's no way that anyone would find it. How would you ever possibly?
Right. Like, because the thing about where you are living currently is it's remote, but it's not like it's vacant, empty, vast, open land. Like other people live out there.
Yeah.
It's not hunting grounds. It's not like that type of forest.
No. And it's not a place that you pass through.
No.
It's a dead end road. There are signs that say private road. You have to drive way far on the dead end road. You have to pass through a gate. It's so unlikely that a poacher would even find their way down here. So I start taking crime scene photos. I'm documenting as hard as I can. Barry is straining at the leash to get back in those bushes.
Sorry. When you go on walks with Barry, you bring those little tent cards with numbers on them. So you're just prepared. You can put them down, take your crime scene photos so that when Josh Mankiewicz and Keith Morrison call you, you're ready to provide Dateline the information they need to solve the crime.
Exactly. And luckily, I was already wearing blue shower caps over my shoes.
So you didn't contaminate the crime scene. That's good. It's good.
Now, if Dennis Murphy calls, I say, get out of here.
Nah, I'm waiting for the big show. Waiting for Keith.
Tell Mankiewicz to call. No, I'm sure Dennis Murphy's really nice.
I'm sure he is.
I don't dislike Dennis Murphy. There's something about Josh and Keith.
It's just, Dennis, you'd never stood a chance. You might be great, but it's like, who's like the third most famous person on the 1995 Bulls? That's Dennis. He's Luke Longley. He's Tony Kukoc.
Oh, See, and we love Kukoc.
And we love Kukoc. He's just, not Michael Jordan. It's okay.
Yeah, sorry.
Sorry.
The thing I want to say about Dennis Murphy, and I've never heard anyone say this before, and it feels important, and I just want you to open your mind. Dennis Murphy in the face. Imagine if you took Dennis Murphy and you dressed him up in a costume. I want you to just picture this and see how it lands for you, because to me, they're the same picture.
Okay.
Dennis Murphy, Disney's Alice in Wonderland Queen of Hearts. They're the same picture.
It's the same picture.
Sorry.
Holy shit. I think, first of all, you're right. No one's ever said that before. And also, it's so important.
Cancel the entrails segment. This is the new segment.
New mystery. Is Dennis Murphy the Queen of Hearts? Did the Disney animators have his baby picture? And they were like, that's it.
Inspo.
Yeah, they had it above the cells. And they're like, inspo for Queen of Hearts. And it was just baby Dennis Murphy.
Who can say? All those people are dead now. Okay, so luckily, because Barry is sort of like a soft boy, he hadn't bitten into them yet. He was just sort of standing there like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Like, is this real? What do I do?
Yeah, like, look at this charcuterie.
Yeah.
It was like a Michelin star dinner for him. And he was like, I don't, like, what fork do I use? He's
Yes.
like overwhelmed. Yeah.
Yeah, I caught him when he was still in that phase.
Yeah.
So I think to myself, okay, I know who would know the answer. And there is a wonderful couple who I'm going to call them Roger and Beverly. I say Roger and Beverly, but they're our age. I shouldn't have named them Roger and Beverly. Their names are Ben and Jessica.
Okay.
They have like normal 40-year-old people names.
Sure.
They do caretaking stuff for different people out here, maintenance, mowing lawns and fixing things and whatever. Upkeep. If part of the fence falls down, I call him, he comes over and fixes it. And I just love them. They're so great. Jessica has chickens and ducks and quails. I go buy eggs from her. It's like cute as hell. It's very idyllic and exactly what you envision when you think about millennials moving off grid or whatever. Yeah. I'm pretty sure he built their house himself.
Oh, so he's, no offense to you, an actual woodsman.
He's an actual woodsman.
No offense to the female woodsman on this recording.
Absolutely none taken. I don't want to billboard myself too hard as a female woodsman for fear that someone will ask me to do something. I do not do anything. I cannot do anything and I know nothing. But Ben/Roger knows how to do everything. He has a beard. So I text him and I'm like, yo, look what I found in the woods. And he's a man of few words, but this man calls me back immediately. He calls me on the phone and he's like, okay, I'm going to go check it out. Describe exactly where it is.
He mobilized immediately. I love that. By the way, very validating, for you.
Yes.
To be like, okay, I took it the right amount of serious because now the serious woodsman is bing, bang, bong.
Yes.
Trying to figure it out. Very validating.
We are just two woodsmans vibing.
Totally. I love that. I love the energy.
We're working on this project together. So I described to him exactly where it is. He gets down there. He calls me back and he's like, wow, I don't know how this happened.
Ooh.
He was like, I know there's been a cougar. I found a couple of cougar kills. And he says, last week I caught a poacher.
Like personally?
Like personally.
They made eye contact and he did like a citizen's arrest?
Meagan, I'll get to that.
Okay.
I got the details later because I was too nervous to ask because, he's a busy woodsman. I don't know exactly what his tolerance for gossip is. So I was just like, oh, okay. He calls me back a little bit later and he's like, okay, here's my best theory. I think someone came on a boat, saw the deer on the bluff. He's like, I think someone shot the deer from their boat, came up on land, dressed the deer, which is where they cut out the guts, took the rest of it onto the boat and just left this here and they put-putted away in the boat.
Boat poacher.
Boat poacher.
Boat poacher. Damn, this is CSI : Hood Canal. That's crazy.
That's crazy.
What a perfect crime for the poacher, I guess. You have like your little getaway vehicle in the water.
Yeah.
Oh my God. What can be done about this?
I don't know. I guess nothing, but it's very scary because people walk there.
Yeah.
Please don't shoot into the woods from the water.
There are people out here with their little butterscotch princes and their fribbies trying to have a nice time.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, that's so scary.
I know, it was so scary. That's crazy, but what else do we have? What other theories do we have?
It's gotta be boat poacher.
It's gotta be Bopo.
And freaking Ben would know.
He would know.
He's a male woodsman, you know?
He's a male, female woodsman.
Yeah.
No, he's a male woodswoman.
Yes.
I literally trust anything that he says about the woods.
Me too.
So a week or so later, I run into Jessica, Ben's wife, on the road, and she's my girl. I love her. I love to chit chat with her. I am desperate to make her my real friend so that I can get all the woods gossip.
Yeah.
I'm working on it. I'm like, hey, did you hear about the entrails? She's like, yeah, crazy. And I'm like, okay, Ben said that he caught a poacher. What does that mean? And she was like, oh, well, you know how he raised a deer, right? And I was like,
oh my God.
What? And she was like, yeah, he found an injured baby deer and couldn't find the mom. And then he raised the deer. So he has like a pet deer.
He was that deer's mommy.
Yes. And I said, how long ago was that? And she was like, oh, it was like 6 or 7 years ago. But she still comes around. She just comes and visits us. And oh my God. And he put a GPS collar on her so that he can like keep an eye on her, make sure she's okay. But because she's out there, he's always keeping an eye on the deer. So sometimes he'll just go out and like walk the roads to make sure that there aren't any poachers, because apparently there are. So he's out on the road. He sees a truck go by that's an unfamiliar truck. And he's like, that's suspicious to me.
Mm.
He thinks they're up to no good. He starts to follow them. And then I believe he hears them get a deer. They shoot a deer. He doesn't want to confront them because they obviously have a gun.
Sure.
He hides in the bushes for them to come back by because it's a dead end.
Mm-hmm.
So he waits and waits and waits in the bushes.
Hell yeah.
They drive by. He gets a picture of that license plate and he frickin' sends it to the sheriff.
Oh, hell yeah.
He nabs them.
That's right.
He nabs them.
You know what we call that? Woods justice. That's what we call that.
You love woods justice.
I freaking love woods justice. I love justice of all kinds of hours happening outside of the actual justice system. That's the kind of justice I'm about. In the street, in the woods. I love it all.
So this is my favorite part of the story, because the reason that this part of the story is so special is because of the quietude of the man. Later that afternoon, I get a text. An unsolicited text from Ben. Clearly, Jessica has been like, oh, I ran into Lindy and I told her the story of how you caught the poacher. He sends me a picture of the deer and he says, my daughter.
No! Stop! Oh my God. I love him.
He's out there protecting the girls of the forest.
I actually think I might cry.
I know.
This has been a very emotional week for me, and this is just like getting me.
And she's cute.
Yeah,
she's cute.
Of course, she was raised by a king. You know,
she's a princess. Thanks, Ben. No thanks to you, Mr. Poacher.
Boat poacher and truck poacher.
Yeah.
Have fun in the lockup, dickhead.
Although, like, maybe they're just impoverished people who need a little bit of meat.
Let's not do praxis right now. Well, sure. But, you know, we've got to have rules in society, do we not? You know?
I don't think that people should shoot their guns into the woods
where people are walking. It's dangerous, you know? Just steal from QFC like, I mean, people do. I don't know who would do
Have
that.
you heard of self-checkout?
Just throwing out an alternative for you.
Step into your power, you know?
Yeah. Listen, if they're going to make you check stuff out, they should pay you for that. And if they're not going to pay you in cash, maybe they should pay you in shrimp.
Right?
Okay, so last week we read this crazy letter sent in by Erin, at this point, my favorite Text Me Back-a-lite who exists, Erin from Wisconsin. She finds this letter inside a copy of Margaret Atwood's The Blind Assassin, and it's the most unsettling letter we've ever read, and we'll talk about it in just a second. But we asked, should we solve this mystery of what is going on in this letter? It is a love letter from some guy named Mark to a woman named Heather. He says, "You're so cute and little." He says she's 3 to 10 times more beautiful than any other woman. It just has an edge to it that is very killer coded. We asked you, should we solve this mystery? The answer was clear. Yes, we should. So Lindy was on the case. Lindy, what happened?
Yeah. So before I even got the answer back from the Text Me Backlights, I knew that I didn't care what they had to say, and I was going to solve this mystery anyway. So I immediately sent it off to my friend Rafil because I like to send weird stuff to my friend Rafil, and this is the weirdest thing that I've seen in my life. So we decided to have Rafil on to discuss the letter and perhaps reveal some secrets. Rafil, hello. Can you please introduce yourself to the Text Me Backlights and explain what you're doing here?
Hi, I apparently am a journalist, and that is why you sent this to me. So you said in the last episode, I write things for a variety of publications, and I am honored that I am not just a weapons grade creep, and that is why I was recruited.
The mystery of whether or not Rafil is a weapons grade creep is one we'll save for a future episode. Text Me Back. But before we get into this letter, we had reached out to the Text Me Backlights to say, is it ethical to try to solve this mystery? Is Heather okay? Is Mark in jail? I don't know. We heard back. We didn't get a single response that was like, don't do this. So that was very validating. Thank you so much. We heard from a different Text Me Backlight, Katie in Appleton, Wisconsin, which is where this letter was found. And she said, we can't be done with this. I live in Appleton, Wisconsin. My God. This is a crime that's happening. It happened in my town, so let's keep going, which I loved.
I love that. Thank you for the encouragement.
We heard from a different Text Me Backlight who said, how do we know this isn't Heather's one and only plea for help? Maybe the weird man has her and she can't get away. And one day he was getting rid of all the Margaret Atwood books because they are a bad influence on Heather. And she clandestinely put the letter in there, hoping someone would find it. We need to help her. And that felt like marching orders. It really did.
That's very Handmaid's Tale, because isn't there a message scratched in Latin in
Yes.
the narrator's chamber?
Yes. Yeah, exactly. So just keeping in the theme. So let's get into it. Mark, Heather, cute and little, 3 to 10 times, internships.
Here's an abridged version of the letter. Heather, congratulations on your graduation, Miss Heather. And while college did take you 4 years compared to my 3.5, you certainly did it in an extremely sexy fashion. I didn't know a girl could be so beautiful and so smart at the same time. Perhaps that is why I wish to keep you. Do you remember Europe, Miss Heather? Sometimes I think back on those few weeks and I cannot believe the miracle that I pulled off. I convinced the sexiest girl in the world to go on a little walk with me. And while I did turn out to be a bad boy, it was in a very good way. Then there's a long paragraph about her internship, but it does contain one very important line, which is, now I know you said that you had the internship at Company A, but I still feel like my little cutie is going to be a sexy working woman now. You are so cute and little, but you're going to work in a huge building.
Ugh, chilling. It's chilling.
So this summer, show off all your smarts. You are in the range of 3 to 10 times more intelligent and better educated than any of your peers. On a related note, you also happen to be 3 to 10 times more beautiful than any other female. This fact is one that you can keep secret from all the boys. So allow me to close with a deep-voiced congratulations and a 2 jerks from the elbow handshake. I have a strong business personality inside me. However, Miss Heather, from my personal side, I wish to give you a little congratulations kiss and a proudly whispered, I love you, in your ear. Good luck, my love. Mark.
Oh, so it's just as bad as I remember. Thank you. Thank you so much.
It does now occur to me to wonder, how is she supposed to keep it a secret from the other guys if she's 3 to 10 times more beautiful than any other woman?
Yeah, they're gonna notice.
I mean, he's an accountant, so he's not enumerate. If it were 3 to 10 times more beautiful than the average woman, it could be like a log scale, like, it's 7 on the Richter scale is 333 times more than a 6 or whatever, but 3 to 10 over the most. This is just not plausible. I don't understand what's going on.
It's mathematically impossible.
It would be an astronomical jump in sexiness and intellect.
So Lindy sends you this letter and you mobilized immediately.
I didn't actually understand why Lindy was sending this to me, so I immediately went and started trying to figure out at least who Heather was. And then when I had done that, I came back to the text thread with Lindy, and she had been texting on and on. Is this something we can do in a way that's safe and ethical?
Was there an actual element of creepy danger and stalking, and are we reigniting that energy? Or is this just a normal relationship and we're like reading someone's private correspondence and humiliating them on a podcast?
Those questions went out the window, and I was able to share with Lindy the person I was pretty sure it was who it did actually turn out to be. So I will send that to you guys now.
Oh my God. This is the most thrilling little quest I've ever been a part of. I'm so excited.
Here is Heather.
Okay.
Aww.
She is beautiful.
She's beautiful. 10 times more beautiful than anyone I've ever seen.
Definitely 3 to 10 times more beautiful than your average accountant. She's smiling. She looks very happy and she looks safe.
Alive.
Alive.
We will not be sharing these photos with the wider audience, by the way.
Unless we hear from Heather and she says, put me on your Instagram.
The weird thing was I couldn't originally find anything that connected her to Appleton or to either of the companies that were mentioned. So I was just going off the graduate program, and that was it. Nevertheless, we found her pretty quickly. And then I told Lindy that I had to go back to doing whatever notional real work I had to do. And I went home and shelved this until it was after working hours so that my partner, who is a private investigator, could help me chew through the rest just at speed.
Oh my God, we accidentally hired a private investigator?
Wait, I didn't know she's an actual private investigator.
Oh my God.
Yeah, she changed careers from academia to being a PI a while ago.
Can you have her invoice us, please?
If I had known that, that's why I would have sent this to you.
Instead, you just suborned unpaid female labor. So
Oh,
no.
Margaret Atwood would hate that.
Lindy's the real Mark now.
I'm offended that you keep saying you didn't know why I would send you this. I feel like I send you weird stuff all the time.
I didn't know how you wanted me to respond.
I just wanted you to be like, whoa.
That's crazy.
I feel like you're always creeping and snooping and you always know everything. Every time I text you anything, you're like, oh yes, well, and then you know everything about it already.
I also do happen to have a relationship to Wisconsin, so I immediately brought up that Appleton has renounced their second favorite son after Harry Houdini, Willem Dafoe, because he referred to it as a favela.
So see, as I suspected, you already knew everything about Appleton, Wisconsin. Oh, by the way, have you read The Blind Assassin? I haven't read it. What's it about? Is it relevant to the story?
No idea. We probably should have done some basic diligence.
I didn't even look up the plot summary.
I did, but I don't remember what it was about. It's a book about two best friends.
Two best friends in a book, they might kiss.
They might kiss, and then one of them does something, and the other one either loves it or is jealous.
Just like us.
Just like us, I can't remember. And then they get an internship and they're cute and little, and they, I don't know.
Yeah. Okay, so Anne comes home and does the real work.
We work side by side as we sometimes do, and it started
Okay.
out with my explaining to her I would like some help with this. I told her that Lindy came up with this thing, and she rolled her eyes and said, you're always coming up with these stupid projects that your friends need help with, and then I have to do extra work. And within half an hour, she's like Denzel Washington in Training Day, screaming at Mark for daring to elude her.
Yeah.
So we worked on that for a while, and we found that Heather and Mark got married.
What?
And then divorced.
Oh my God.
I got very strong early aughts vibes from this. I think The Blind Assassin first came out in 2000, printing out a letter like this.
Yeah.
And then Heather was the right age for that.
Yeah.
And so then what we found was that they got married in a jurisdiction with an open marriage index. So we were able to find that. And we didn't do a super deep dive, but I think they did not get divorced in that same jurisdiction. We didn't immediately find that. But 2 years after Heather graduated, they got married.
She received this letter and thought, hell yeah.
Or she never saw the letter and found it in a book several years later and divorced him.
For my own mental health, I want to go with that version of events.
So we looked around, we found someone who had finished college in 3.5 years and who matched the grad program that they were both in. And so this is Mark. And then we started looking around at records of residence and property. And by the way, we did not use any special PI databases. We wanted to keep this above board and something that anyone could theoretically do, so we weren't being too creepy about it.
Thank God.
Yeah.
Not too creepy. Not as creepy as Mark.
Meagan, I have some bad news.
What?
We might be creepier than Mark.
I think it... Unfortunately. I think we've crossed the Mark Rubicon.
So, I am going to show you Mark.
Oh my god. Did you see?
That's an AI.
That...
That's an AI. That's an AI.
It looks exactly like the AI picture I made of Kayak Dad. Oh my god. His head, the proportions are giving robot made.
The proportions are giving Bart Simpson. You know when people make those if the Simpsons were real?
Yeah.
You're telling me that this is an actual man and not an AI portrait.
There's something strange about, like, the aspect ratio of his head.
Yeah. This cannot be real.
Here he is with his new wife. He definitely has a type.
Okay.
This is more normal.
This is more normal. His new wife looks identical to
Yeah,
Heather.
very similar to Heather. I think I'm allowed to say this. He's wearing the shirt in this picture that everyone most strongly associates with white male accountants. And it's that checkered J. Crew gingham shirt that every bro wears. So this feels very on brand for one, an accountant, and two, for a man who writes letters like "You are 3 to 10 times." Oh, no, my God, Rafil! Okay, what's happened is that Rafil has sent us a photo of Mark holding an AR-15, I think.
Whatever that is much bigger than an AR-15.
It looks like an Uzi.
It's like something you mount on an armored personnel carrier.
In comparison, ironically, Mark looks so cute and little, but he's holding a huge gun. And now I'm newly worried. 1000% Mark is a Trump voter. I'm just gonna say it.
This gun is so big. It's 3 to 10 times bigger than Mark. For people who are enraged that they can't see the Mark photos, I want to give you an image, which is Salt and Pepper Topher Grace. He's like one of those guys with a small head, small features, delicate, a boyish delicacy, giant gun, bad pants. Can I say something really quick before we move on? I want to say that as a chunky who never had the normie romance experience, this has me wondering, is that what it was like? Like, is that a normal letter where
No.
people... No?
No.
But like, you never dated anyone like this guy.
No, I mean, I never dated an accountant with a gun. That's true.
So how would you know?
So I guess I wouldn't know.
Maybe this is what women that look like Heather are experiencing all the time, and it's just normal.
If you've ever dated an accountant with a gun, can you text us at the BFF party phone, 703-829-0003, and let us know if he sent you any letters like the one that Mark sent Heather. We just want to see something.
That's pod tax. Oof. That's the acronym I came up with for our phone line. Pod tax. Ooh. The O's are zeros.
Okay, Rafil, what happened next? What a journey.
Yeah, what happened?
They stopped living together at some point, I think in the early teens. By then, it's clear that they have split up, and then by the mid-teens, Mark and his new wife are married, and Heather is living with a new guy who might be her husband. Didn't care enough to look into it, but they are still together. They are still together, and so they start living with each other by the mid-teens, and then the strange thing starts happening in the property records, where they are constantly selling and transferring apartments in the same building back and forth to each other, and I don't know what that's about. Like, maybe they were on the way to becoming poly, but being accountants, they got extremely excited by the tax implications and just sort of leaned into that. That's what happened. They are still together, and Mark and his new wife are still together, and they seem to have nice lives.
Did you get a sense of what these people's jobs are, and are they rich? Like, are they doing good?
I think going by property records and LinkedIn and sitting in the recycling outside their homes, I I think they're all doing very well.
Then I don't care if they're mad at me.
Yeah, I don't think they'll ever know that this happened.
God, I feel so healed by this. Heather's safe, aside from the weird apartment thing, which sounds like the setup to a thriller that I will be writing. A closed door mystery, what's happening in the apartment building. And Mark seems to be not in prison for murder, so
good for him. Well, listen, I want to thank you, Rafil, for coming on. This is the first mystery that we have solved as an independent production of Text Me Back.
And we didn't really do any of it.
We didn't do any of it, but also I've never felt more satisfied in my life than I feel at this moment. Aaron in Appleton, Wisconsin, you queen. Thank you for sending us this letter.
Maybe we should send Aaron the pics.
Maybe we should.
What if we sent Erin the pictures and she's like, I know them.
That's my dad!
For a small bit of Lindy-related self-promotion in exchange for having solved the mystery, Lindy and I actually became friends when she worked at The Stranger and I worked at Harper's Magazine. And I started emailing her all of her typos that would appear in her posts. And she was appreciative and she fixed them.
You were?
Yeah. I don't want to have a typo in there.
And so we started becoming friends and actually started doing this more broadly to The Stranger. And finally, they made me an honorary editor and just gave me a login account because they were sick of hearing from me and just said, fix it yourself. So then I was just working for free, fixing typos that were driving me crazy.
Now you're fixing mysteries.
Shortly after Lindy and I became acquainted this way, I got a letter about something I had written and published complaining that there was a typo in it, that this was a serious grammatical error. And I wrote back and said, no, it wasn't. And unlike Lindy, I was not gracious at all. I was adversarial. And it was really fun. And this person kept writing back and insisting he was right. And so eventually I just flew to where he lived to meet him, which happened to be Branson, Missouri, America's strange evangelical showtown. And then I continued to go back there because I became interested in the town over a period of 10 years. And I have, I guess it's this week, coming out, the result of this research, which is a long article in Harper's called The Branson Pilgrim, which you can find in better Barnes & Nobles and, I guess, on the website. So if you enjoy me being an obsessive creep who follows people across the years and generally is a combination of terrifying and tedious, then please look this up.
It's a beautiful article. I got to read an advance copy, and it's really, really good. And by the way, that's why I sent you the letter, because you do stuff like that.
If you're interested and want to check it out, The Branson Pilgrim, we're going to put a link in the show notes for this show. Thank you, Rafil.
I also did the photos.
Oh!
They're beautiful. Rafil, would you like to be our in-house detective?
I would be honored, and I would not do it even if you asked me not to do it. I would just...
Okay, you're hired. We'll send you an edible arrangement. We don't have any money right now.
We don't have any money. But speaking of, if you have a mystery that you would like us to solve, please text it to the BFF party phone at 703-829-0003. You can also call us there. You can send us an email at deartextmeback@gmail.com. And we're just out here solving mysteries. By the way, if you liked this mystery solution and you want more of it, subscribe to the freaking Patreon, bro. It's patreon.com/textmebackpod. And we're just going to give all that money to Rafil's partner to solve all of our mysteries.
Yep.
So don't let us down.
Man, now that Rafil's gone, I realize that we forgot a pivotal question.
Yeah?
I just wish that I had asked him if he confirmed the size of the building and whether...
Yeah, what? Oh, we fucked up.
We fucked up.
Oh, no.
If a tiny person were to enter this building,
Yeah.
how cute and little would she be in comparison?
It's gotta be huge. And well, now,
Wait.
I guess now we'll never know. Yeah?
No, Rafil just texted us a bunch more bonus photos. Okay, one of the photos is a building.
Oh my God.
But he didn't say if it's the building or not. Now I'm doing detective. I'm zooming in to see.
Oh. Oh.
Oh,
Yes.
oh, yep.
Yeah, you can see at the top.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, we can confirm the building is huge. If you were 3 to 10 times more beautiful than the average woman walking into that building, you'd be so cute and little. I mean, this all makes sense now.
Oh my God, Meagan, when we simultaneously zoomed in on that logo at the top of that building, we joined the ranks of the finest detectives.
I was about to be like NYPD, but they're bad.
They're bad. We're part of the Rafil and Ann Detective Agency.
That's right. We've never done anything wrong in our lives.
Meagan, I have something to say.
Yeah?
Earlier in segment 1, we were talking about being YouTube stars, and I
Mhm.
said, audio, I don't know her. And I should have said, audio, adios.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to correct the record that that's what I should have said.
Yeah. And that's been weighing heavily on you since we
It
recorded
has.
that. Yeah.
It has.
Yeah.
It's been gnawing at my spinal cord.
Oh. Well, thank you so much.
Well, Meagan, we done it again.
Podcast. And you know what the Patreon subscribers are saying? They're saying, keep going, gals.
Yeah,
Keep
they love it.
doing it. They love it. We are soaring. We're cruising in the skies with our Patreon subscribers, our kayak dance, our big and hairies, our pig DNA. Thank you so much, everyone who's already subscribed.
We're uploading treats right and left. We've got bonus videos. We've got Text Me Back After Dark, which is a 40-minute chit chat about television that is so funny.
I'm not just saying this because I want you to subscribe to our Patreon. All of the comments were like, this alone was worth it. That's how good Text Me Back After Dark is. You do not want to miss this. Just recently, we put up all the music of the show by Chief Ahamefule J, Oluo, so you can download the songs and the music from the show.
It's a full 12-track album. It's got a couple of bonus tracks. You got Freak Vonk on there.
Bam.
You got our original theme song sung by me.
When they say Lindy West was in Northwest Girls Choir, they ain't lying, okay? Patreon.com/textmebackpod. We literally cannot make the podcast without your financial assistance.
And if you subscribe at our $8 tier, Pig DNA, you get a free bundled subscription to Butt News, all access Butt News. And that means that over at Butt News, you get access to my paywalled series about fat suit movies. Coming soon. I haven't decided. I'm doing either Norbit or The Clumps sometime in the next 2 weeks. And also the podcast over there that I'm about to resurrect, which is called Butt News Movie Club Movie Buttcast, where I am reading old Butt Newses out loud and doing the voices.
I think it's time to announce we're about to do a Text Me Back /Butt News collabo where you and I are going to watch a movie from our best friendship lore and turn that into a Butt News post. You don't want to miss it. It's behind the paywall, babe, so you better subscribe.
All right, babes. I love you.
Love ya. See you next week. Bye. Mwah.
Goodbye.